You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Thursday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby. I need you to tell me if I've gone too far with being petty with my neighbor. So there is a small stretch of land on one side of my driveway. Like most of my lawn, 99%.
Are we talking about the part of your driveway that's covered in weeds?
Yeah. So 99% of the lawn is on the left side of my driveway. That's all been mowed, cleared. We're good to go.
Yeah.
No mow May is over. But my neighbor on the one side, he got the big riding mower that he does his whole lawn with.
Yeah.
And he makes sure that not 1 inch, not 1 millimeter of that blade goes onto the barely 1 foot of land that is technically on my property when he mows. Mm-hmm. And I've just stopped mowing that part of my lawn. And I'm trying to figure out if I'm being too petty or if I'm maybe, fighting a good fight here.
Now, the thing is, have you ever done anything for your neighbors?
No, but they've also never done anything for me.
Then, does it bug you having the weeds?
What's that? No, absolutely not.
Then
because as far as I'm concerned, and I know this is probably the wrong thing to say, but as far as I'm concerned, my driveway is the edge of my property. I really don't think of anything past my driveway as being mine. So it just seems to me, in my head, I think I justify it, that it's just why do they not take care of that one part of their lawn?
And he's probably looking at you like, why the hell doesn't this guy just trim the weeds?
Why won't he come out here and do it? So you're thinking it's too petty?
I'd say it's a little mix of both. I mean, he could just go over, but then you could also just bust out the weed whacker any second and just take it out.
You're right. It's just watching him walk that fine line. You can tell he's really meticulously worried about having to mow what would essentially be an extra second and a half. You know what it is? If he didn't have the riding mower, I would get it.
Yeah.
If he had a push mower, I'd be like, hey, fair enough. I don't want to do any more than my share either. But it's if he jerks the steering wheel left, we're done. We're clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those situations where it's kind of on you, dog.
Yeah, no, I think I just needed someone to tell me that.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I am struggling this morning because I found an online auction for a old movie house in Vancouver. Apparently, it was a major part of the Granville Strip down in Vancouver until about 2021, when, along with, all these other businesses, kind of got caught up in COVID and stuff, shut down. It's called Movie Land.
Okay.
But now, 3 years after they closed, they're finally getting ready to evacuate the space that they were in.
Are you looking at buying, DVDs or something?
Dude, they're auctioning off 50 arcade machines.
Oh, pinball machines and stuff?
Classic arcade machines. Pinball,
Nice.
all the old games, the Street Fighters and Mortal Kombats and Galagas and all of it. And it's all online. And I'm just I could have a big buck hunter in my basement by the end of the month.
Yo, I'll tell you this. There's places closer. My uncle used to rent out a pinball machine, and then he'd have one of those motorcycle racing things in his basement.
Oh.
You can rent them out for 6 month, 12-month periods.
Get a lease?
Yeah.
I love the idea of having one of those motorcycle games. Yeah, I leased a motorcycle, keep it in the basement.
Well, because the game gets boring after a while is the one thing my uncle learned.
That's true.
Once you set the high score, no one can beat it after a while.
Unless you have one of the more competitive ones. I feel like pinball wouldn't get old.
Yeah.
Because you can always try and beat your own score. You have people over, you turn it into a tournament kind of thing. They are saying the pinball games are going for much higher in this auction than just the regular ones. What if you and I team up and we get a game for the studio?
I'm not spending a dime for anything at work, but if you want to do it, I'm on board. That'd be sick to have one here.
Wouldn't it? Just right over there in the corner. Take out that one little garbage can that's sitting over there. Put in a Mortal Kombat or something like that.
Oh, that'd be nice.
What would be the best game to have in the studio? What would be the most fitting arcade game for a studio?
Not even an arcade game, but foosball.
Oh,
we used to have a foosball machine in the cafeteria in high school. Oh my God, people used to put clinics on that thing.
I'll tell you right now, I think you would get upset with me if we had a foosball table.
Yeah.
I'm a spinner. I don't know any other way.
That's all good. We can run it back every single time, man. I'm a poor loser. That's all good. I used to see people get into arguments over the foosball table in high school.
Yeah, foosball.
Even in college, there was one at the college bar there.
Really?
Oh, yeah, people get into it there. Foosball makes people go nuts.
Oh, holy. My college bar back in Edmonton had a air hockey table, and it was the same way. You'd hear two noises back to back. It was always that clacking of the plastic puck going into the net, and then someone just ripping a 3.825.
I've heard of lots of like those whatever, like Google headquarters and stuff. They have these game rooms, and I always wonder how beneficial it actually is to the work environment.
Right.
Or does it just kind of like make things more heated?
Well, that's just it, right? Because the whole idea is like, oh, guys, we just, if you're having a stressful day at work, go on down to the lounge and play some games. And you're right. If I'm having a bad day at the office doing coding or whatever, and I go down and then someone starts smoking me at foosball, my day didn't get any better.
Oh, yeah. Put one of those on a construction site. Have the electricians versus the plumbers or something.
Someone's going to get hit with a wrench afterwards.
Settle the score. Rather than going into the porta potty and writing all this stuff about each other like we've learned in the past, you could just have a little game of foosball, settle the score right there.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ashley, you guys play games at work?
Yeah, we do. So my boss has one of those like little kids basketball nets up on his wall in his office.
Oh, sweet.
And, like little foam basketball. So we go in there. He's got lines taped off on his floor of where we can shoot from, and we get 5 shots. If we get it in, that gets us a free coffee, and we also get points towards prizes at the end of the quarter. I don't know what the prizes are, but I've heard that they're pretty
he's
good.
like keeping score for like
he's
for like a part of the year.
He's on a spreadsheet, and not even that. Like, we're competing against other departments. So I'm in the admin department. We're competing against the sales department. So yeah, it's all fun, and like we have a little putters one too. So we have 3 balls and we get 3 shots, and if we get it in, then we get points, and yeah, it's just like a fun little break, He'll just be like, okay, it's your guys' turn to shoot.
Now, I will say, you say it's a fun little thing. There's some fellas at the office that are taking that very seriously.
That's just it, right? It's all about your mindset. Like, even like we were talking, if we had games here in the studio, we'd like yell at each other and fight and stuff like that. Ashley clearly is playing to have fun, and I'm sure there are other people in the department, but that there are people who go into that office. They've been practicing, like, in their driveway, in their garage.
Yeah.
They take the little basketball, they fade back, they shoot, it hits the rim and out. They're just walking back to their desk going, stupid, I can't believe I did this.
You ever see someone, like, rage quit a video game? I would love to see someone just rage quit at work after losing in mini basketball. Just spaz out kind of thing.
Goes in, shoots 2 for 5, and just like... You know what? Maybe this isn't the right place for me. Maybe I just need to go. Maybe I'm leaving.
There's a lot of people saying that they have like tons of games and stuff at their work. Someone texted in and said they used to work at Future Shop and they'd have a bunch of video game consoles in the back.
Oh, that
and they'd
makes
rip
sense.
Guitar Hero all the time.
See, and that would be fun. My kids got to play Guitar Hero, like actual original Guitar Hero, for the first time this past weekend. And you could see the frustration in their eyes until they started to kind of figure it out. And then they were just like, it was like a throwback for me because I was like, I remember being this happy.
Dude, playing Rock Band always sucked if you were the guy that was put on the drums and you had like no rhythm. Everyone would get so mad at you.
Our friend group had a deal where you could, if you were stuck on drums, it was a 2-person thing, and one person's job was just the kick, and then the other person would tap the pad.
Tell me your friend group has no rhythm.
100%. Oh my God, whiter than a jar of mayonnaise, but you know what? We made it work.
Dude, we need to get Rock Band in this office. That'd be awesome.
No, it would end with guitar smashing. 100% it would.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
X, or I guess the app formerly known as Twitter, did something yesterday that I'm surprised it took them so long to do. They officially got rid of publicly being able to see everyone's likes.
Yeah, so now you can still like things, and I feel like if you are the person who made the post, you can still see like who liked your stuff, or at least I'm still seeing old notifications when I'm looking on there. But now you can't, like, if I go to your page, I can no longer find out the things you like.
Dude, I can't believe it took this long. There's so many. We used to have a boss.
Yeah.
Who used to like some there's a lot of smut
Yeah.
on Twitter, and our boss would go through and just like all these like porno clips and stuff.
Aggressive porno clips.
And he had no idea that the likes option was just open to the public. Hell, man, I have so many buddies who had no idea. And it's like, it'd come up on your timeline.
Yeah.
Or even if I just went to your profile, I could just go through and be like, well, someone's a tad horny. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Like, that's the thing, is not even just for like the horniness and the adult content and stuff like that, but there was stuff that I just wouldn't like because I was cognizant, mostly because of you and our boss, that those things were public. And I was just like, I don't want at some point someone to come back and be like, oh, you like that post?
Yeah.
That says something about you as a person.
I can't believe that it was a thing for so long. It's almost like how there's still people. My dad does not get it that his Facebook profile is public.
Oh, dude.
And sometimes he'll go on like rants and stuff, and I'm like, dude, please make your Facebook page private. Like, we are attached.
I feel like I can talk about this now that my mom is like fully retired for years and years from her old government job. But my mom used to go on Facebook and write things like puff, puff, pass. And I'm like, Mom, they're going to make you pee in a cup if you keep doing this. She's like, no, it's on my Facebook. Only my friends can see it. It's like, that's absolutely not true.
That's the same thing with my dad. It's just, it is mind-blowing to me, like how, I guess, like open all of us are on the internet. I mean, we've all got a digital footprint, I guess is what you call it.
Absolutely.
But it's crazy how, like, open people are with like not having a problem with things being out there.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if it was the same thing. Like if there was Twitter likes for just your Google searches.
Yo.
Like if you have a Google account.
Yeah.
Imagine every time you typed in something to Google, like everyone could see it. And I'm not even talking about like the smut or the dirty stuff that you're looking at.
Even just the random things that come across your mind, the dumb questions you've ever thought of.
The amount of times in the run of a week that I Google words on how to spell them.
Yeah.
Like my English teacher in high school would be freaking out on me if she knew how many times I had to do that.
Dude, even for like, I do a lot of those like Wordle style word games every day.
Yeah.
And even that, I'm Googling stuff to be like, I've never heard of this before. I like to think it's educational, but I think if somebody else came across and looked at my search history, they'd be like, look at this idiot.
Hell, dude, I'd even be embarrassed if just the history from my iPhone calculator got released. The amount of times that I can't figure out like simple addition, subtraction, multiplication
Nobody wants that archive to get
is
loose.
insanely embarrassing.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
There is a town in Germany who recently voted on killing all of the pigeons in their town.
Mass bird-icide?
Yeah, apparently they say that the pigeons have become kind of a nuisance in town, just lingering around. They've actually calculated that they have 700 pigeons living in this small town.
Now, how many people live there?
It doesn't say, but it does say 53% of the residents voted yes on killing the pigeons, and that's about 7,000 votes.
Okay, so we're saying like roughly 15,000 or so, 700 pigeons, and that is taking over the town.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, they haven't said how they're going to go about doing it.
Right.
But the first thing that popped into my head is like, they could have a massive feast.
Oh, for sure they could.
Because people eat pigeon, right?
Oh, I got to imagine out of that 15,000, there's got to be enough people that hunt, right? You all just start at one end of town and just work your way through. And if you can count 700 corpses at the end of it, in the kitchen, then you're good.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. Like, pigeons are annoying. Like, I'm not advocating for people to go around killing pigeons or anything like that.
This is a very clear, I'm sure they've done, like, their research on the environmental impact and all that stuff. You shouldn't just go out and shoot a bird today.
But I'm just saying, their noise...
Yeah.
All they do is turd all over the place.
Right.
And then they just squat up. That's about it. I mean, like, I don't know what role pigeons play in, like, our ecosystem. I'm sure they do something.
I missed that class in science. Yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever eaten pigeon before?
I have not. I've eaten a lot of, like, smaller animals from my time living up in the north. But, yeah, no, pigeon never came up.
Is that what pheasant is? Is pheasant pigeon? Or is that something else?
I don't know if it's the same. I would assume just from, like... looking at the two of them, feels like there's probably some similarities.
Oddly enough, I feel like pigeon is like one of those things that like some like hoity-toity people have to eat sometimes. It's either like you're like really rich and fancy,
yeah,
or you're like I don't know, Armageddon style living, just hunting pigeons.
Is that squab? Is that the same thing, or is that a different
what it
bird?
is?
There's so many birds. There's too many birds.
Has anyone ever eaten pigeon before? 762-555. Actually, is it legal to eat pigeon in Ontario?
That I don't know. I feel like pigeon also has a reputation of like being kind of a dirty bird from like whenever you see pigeons in the media, right? It's like you said, they're crapping on everything they're living. I don't think people think in North America of pigeons as a food source because we just assume that they're dirty.
I did just give it a Google here. It says pigeons are not covered by Ontario's Fish and Wildlife Conservation Act, meaning they're don't need a license to hunt them.
You can just kill pigeon whenever you want?
Bro, I'm just saying, with the rate of inflation right now, if groceries keep getting as expensive as they are...
You gonna build a little pigeon trap in your backyard?
Dude, just go downtown for like a 10-minute walk. You can come home with a feast, bro.
Just see you walking through downtown with like a slingshot strapped to your arm looking for pigeon. I'm gonna eat tonight.
Dude, people are texting in pigeon pot pies. It's a Austrian delicacy.
How much pigeon do you need to feed like a family of 4? 2 adults, 2 kids. Can you get by on 1 pigeon?
I feel like it's 1 pigeon per person. Like if you were to go to like Kentucky Fried Pigeon, you'd have to get like a full like, I don't know, 10-piece for a family.
Kentucky Fried Pigeon, KFP, baby.
I wonder what it tastes like. Does it taste like chicken?
I mean, at this point, I assume that all birds taste somewhere in the trifecta of chicken, duck, and turkey.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that triforce lands the flavor of every bird.
Pigeon is the real dirty bird, though.
100%.
The Brock and Dobby Podcast.
The pigeon was a domesticated bird.
Really?
Well, yeah, they use pigeon mail carriers, right?
That's right. Messages raised for entertainment, like pigeon races.
That's right. I remember a story from about 5 years ago of a dude who paid $2 million for a racing pigeon.
Oh, yeah. Racing pigeons is a big thing, like out in Australia and like China and stuff.
And then when they can't race anymore, we eat them.
Well, you can eat them, sure. The thing is, though, when the telegraph came out, all the modern communications we have now, they serve no purpose anymore.
Right, yeah. If I can pick up the phone and I can call Brock, I don't need to have a bird that I send to him first.
That's right.
Weird to think at one point that was a flex to have a pigeon.
Well, it was, yeah. Well, we've got pigeons and...
Walk into a guy's house, see a pigeon in a cage, by the whoa, you got one of the new pigeons!
Yeah, I got the iPigeon 2000. What have you got? This is why you only find pigeons living in cities. You never find them out in the woods.
Yeah, because they're all spies.
Well, yeah, there's that, too.
Birds aren't real at the end of the day, but...
Oh, let's stir the people with the tinfoil hats up now.
The Brock and Dobby Podcast.
From what I'm seeing on the text line, pigeon does not taste too good. There's a lot of folks that have had some squab over their years.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying very hard to catch pigeons.
I would imagine, like, they move pretty quick. I think we're lulled into the false sense of security by how they'll just sort of lollygag around downtown.
Yeah.
But if you make a move at them, like, they're gone.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that it's legal. There's not like a hunting season for it or anything. Like, you could just go out and catch pigeon at any time.
Brother, you want to, after the show, you want to go downtown, get some pigeon? We'll pluck it and see what we can do?
Absolutely not. I was trying to look up like other like things that like are illegal to eat in Ontario, and I mean like there's a lot of like wild game and stuff like that, and of course there's seasons for hunting things,
licenses and stuff.
I somehow stumbled upon a huge collection of things that are actually illegal in like the European Union.
Oh, okay.
Like Mountain Dew is apparently not allowed in Japan, England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales.
If you go overseas, you can't do the dew?
You can't do the dew. Pop-Tarts are also illegal out there.
What? How do they have any fun?
Frosted Flakes, Rice Krispies. This one's really weird. Wheat Thins.
Okay. Up until now, everything has been like, okay, I get it. These aren't like super healthy things. I get why you ban them. Wheat Thins?
Yeah.
Why are you banning Wheat Thins?
It says, what is it? There's something in the packaging itself.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if you like, if I barehanded a handful of wheat thins into the country, I might be okay.
Yeah.
But if I try to bring a box, then I'm going to get in trouble at the border.
Yeah, it's weird because that's the most bland of all the things I just listed off there.
You need to put so much on a wheat thin to make it something you'd ever want to eat. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to think that they'd be like, no, get that out of here.
I mean, I watch that Border Patrol show all the time, and you see people coming from all these countries trying to bring in fish and stuff like that. I get that, but do you think if you flew in to Ireland and you had a box of wheat thins,
are they shutting you down? All right, listen, bud, you can get in the country, but the box stays here.
Yeah, you have you have some Rice Krispies and you get put on a travel ban list or something.
Dude, and those border security shows that you watch, sometimes the border guards, they get belligerent. How dare you try and bring this smoked meat into our country? You know it's not allowed in here.
Yeah.
Do they have that same heat, that same energy over Frosted Flakes?
There's a dog that starts sniffing and goes crazy because it smells the Mountain Dew Code Red.
Well, to be fair, I'd be okay if we banned Code Red from this country too, but that's just a personal preference.
You get 5 years for doing the do.
Dude, that's the ultimate what are you in for? Tried to bring Dew to Japan.
A little too extreme for everyone here, I guess.
Too extreme for the Europeans.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I don't know if you've seen the video or the photos of the young man at the Cincinnati Reds Cleveland Guardians game the other night. Guy made a run for it on the field.
Yep.
Cops start chasing him. Cop gets very close to him.
So close.
Buddy pulls a backflip.
Unreal.
Cop instantly hits him with the taser.
Dude, I have not seen the video because honestly, the photo of the moment of the taser is art. It is the greatest photograph that this photographer will take in their life.
It's perfect because it's there's one photo of the kid and he's big crap-eating grin on his face as he's running.
The greatest time of his life.
Then there's another photo of mid backflip, and it's when I tell you he is a foot away from the cop, you can see how pissed off the cop is.
He is stunting on him.
And then the next photo is just it's one of those tasers with the wires and the prongs too. Oh. So you see it hitting the kid's back, and you can see the cop's face with the aggression, and the kid
The cop is mad. The taser is lit up at the gun end, and the kid is in full paralysis from face to toes. And it's a 3-part story with a perfect ending.
They say a photo is worth 1,000 words. These 3 photos are worth 1 billion.
Like I said, I haven't seen the video because I don't feel like I have to. I saw the 3 pictures and I was just art, I'm good.
Dude, put those photos in the Louvre or something, man.
Yes.
If I was this kid, I would hang that up in my basement, honestly.
Brother, I would buy a set of these 3 framed to put in my stairwell. These are great.
If you haven't seen the photo yet, text taser to 762-555. We'll send it your way. I was looking, though, so apparently all the kid got was suspicion of obstruction and a trespassing kind of thing. He's already been released in front of the judge. The judge actually said, "Did you land that backflip?" And the kid goes, "I'm pretty sure I did."
Do you think that had an outcome on sentencing? Do you think if the kid had biffed the backflip...
They're "You're pretty nice with it, so we're going to let you slide."
That's what I'm saying. If the kid biffs the backflip and they just cuff him and take him away, is the judge all right, you're banned from the stadium for a year, community service, you get a fine, but he lands the backflip and they're yo, fist bump.
I'm
Respect.
pretty sure as long as you don't get naked, it's not... I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal. Someone at a Jays game years ago told me that it's a couple $100 fine.
Right.
You might have to sit whatever somewhere and holding for a little bit.
Right.
And then you get the ban from a stadium for I think it's a year ban at the Sky Dome or whatever.
If it's your first offense and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you're the kind of person, and God, I feel like we're encouraging people to do this. We obviously do not endorse.
I mean,
legally.
If you're gonna do it,
don't
that's up to you. I'm saying it's up to you. I've thought about it myself. So.
Do not endorse anybody to do this, but you're right. It doesn't necessarily feel like the consequences are so dire that you couldn't get away with it.
Here's the thing I've always thought, because whenever I'm sitting like first or third baseline at the Dome, I've thought about it. I'm like, you got that straight shot, you can run straight out to the field, whatever.
You can make some distance before anybody could catch you, even if you're not fast or shifty.
It would be so embarrassing trying to do the hop onto the field, and if you just biffed it, like if you can't even get onto the field before you make a run for it,
you catch a toe on like the wall and you just eat it in the warning track. Oh man.
Also, I guarantee you, if you do something where it's like, you ever see those videos where the guys get on the field and they're like evading the security and police, and they have them diving and falling on the ground?
Right.
I guarantee you, if you make a Toronto police officer like jump at you and he eats it in front of everyone, I'm sure the charges get a little more hefty, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Like, the backflip doesn't embarrass anybody. It just makes the kid look cooler. But if you start like stunting on the police and stuff like that, I personally think, though, say you're on the third baseline, and you get onto the field, you dodge all the players, all the security. I think if you make it to the first baseline and jump back into the stands, you should be allowed to sit back in your seat. I think that should be a game.
I think they would disagree with you on that.
Oh, well, sure. Big baseball doesn't like fun.
Yeah. I just always think of that dude at the Calgary Flames game that tried to hop over the glass onto the ice.
And just smashed himself
naked onto the ice there, dude.
What an awful moment that was. Or what about the guy who tried to fight Domi in the penalty box?
Oh, yeah.
And fell in and just got dummied?
Oh, man. It would suck so bad if you brought someone to a game and you didn't know they were going to do that. Go on like a first date with a girl to a baseball game and just be like, I'll be right back.
If you bring a friend to the game and they get kicked out because they tried something on the field, do you go with them or do you watch the rest of the game?
Nah, man, I'll pick you up later.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Today's word is munificent. Munificent, yeah. Munificent. Munificent. And it's generous or lavish. Well, generous, I'd rather be the giver. That's for sure. Anyways, that's about it. Have a great one. Cheer you up.
All right.
Is it munificent?
We'll find out. Here's the right pronunciation.
Munificent.
Munificent it is.
Also lavish.
Yeah.
Basically, it's fancy. It's big. It's cool. It's beautiful sort of thing.
Generous as well, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what? If we were right here, right now, at the end of the show to decide, we should go grab something to eat. And you were like, hey, I'm paying. That'd be real munificent.
Yes, some people have told me over my lifetime that I am a very munificent lover.
Name 3.
Hey, man never tells.
Oh, fair enough.
Never kisses and tells, all right?
That's fair. I tend to get more munificent with alcohol. I'm that guy that's at the bar. I'm just buying myself drinks, but if I have enough, I'll buy them for everybody else, too.
Yeah, there's always these guys with a certain bar I go to in town that seem like they're munificent, whatever they're doing in the bathroom stalls. I don't hear it, but it seems like they got stuffy noses, but... Then
they come out a lot more munificent when they're done.
Yeah, there's one guy there's always looking for that is very munificent in there, I guess, but... Munificent. Use it wherever you can today, all right?
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store, with all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.